time for the news. We take a look at stories making headlines. Republican President Edgar Lungu has cautioned Zambians against making reckless statements that have the potential to cause havoc in the country. The Higher Education Authority has overruled the Health Professions Council of Zambia (HPCZ) on the suspension of 3 medical programs at Copperbelt University. And UPND's Sheke Member of Parliament Frank Kufakwandi has died. And now the news in detail. Republican President Edgar Lungu has cautioned Zambians against making reckless statements that have the potential to cause havoc in the country. The head of state has also urged critics to spare investors from local politics. Speaking when he officially opened Neokant Sarova Premier Hotel in Lusaka, Republican President Edgar Lungu says no one has the right to single out any nationality and set the population against it. And the president says that the opening of the hotel is an example of a private sector contribution towards the fulfillment of government tourism policy and attainment of the Vision 2030. He says he is determined to create a good business environment and that the hotel will contribute to alleviation of the challenge of accommodation for tourists and those visiting the capital city. President Lungu notes that the country's tourism sector has been growing over the years despite negative statements from some political opponents.
As president, my primary job is to protect life and property, and I therefore appeal to all citizens to act responsibly and avoid reckless statements that can undermine our cherished peace and stability. The private sector response to a friendly business operating environment is clear defeat for those sayers who are hell bent on undermining the lesser confidence in our country. No one, ladies and gentlemen, has the right to single out any single nationality and set the population of our people against that nationality, or investors from different countries should be spared our local politics. Here we are, investors from Tanzania, or their party from India. I think the chairman has explained, he's an Indian, he's a Tanzanian, an African of Indian origin. So don't be mixed up. The Indian people have lived in Africa for a long time. Some of them have become our own people. Some are Tanzanians, some are Zambians. We consider this investment from come from Tanzania. So Indian High Commission, relax easy.
And speaking at the same event, Tourism Minister Dr. Charles Banda expressed confidence that the hotel will create impact in the hospitality industry. And Neokantha Group Chairman Sabasha Patel says President Lungu's hospitality and kindness has pulled investors towards the country. Mr. Patel says that the $20 million United States investment will trigger a positive effect to Zambia's economic development. He states that the hotel will offer 150 direct jobs to Zambia.
The Neokam Sarova Premier Hotel is a clear testimony of the role of the private sector in fostering potential tourism business opportunities and thereby contributing to the improvement of the economic welfare of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, the President, the tourism sector holds the potential to be a major contributor to socio-economic development as an important source of jobs, wealth, and competitiveness, particularly in the country's rural areas, and holds major linkages to various other sectors of the economy. As an industry, tourism in Zambia offers large opportunities for a return on investment in infrastructure development, hotel management, tour operators, and the meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions MICE subsectors. Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, having taken the tour of the property and observed the policies of the local groups, I'm confident that this property will create impact in the hospitality sector in Zambia.
Higher Education Authority (HEA) has directed the Copperbelt University (CBU) to continue running the Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, and Bachelor of Dental Surgery learning programs until further notice, overruling the Health Professions Council of Zambia (HPCZ), which last week directed the CBU to stop offering the programs for failure to meet set standards. HEA Acting Director General Elizabeth Namonje states that as mandated by the Higher Education Act number 4 of 2013, Statutory Instrument number 25 of 2016, the Higher Education Authority is the custodian of all higher education institutions in Zambia, be it public or private, and has the authority to accredit learning programs at these institutions. Ms. Namonje says in May 2018, the Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, and Bachelor of Dental Surgery learning programs at CBU were audited by experts acting on behalf of HEA for purposes of accreditation. She says preliminary findings of the audit indicate that the learning programs had areas that needed improvement. Ms. Namonje explains that following the findings, HEA began a process of guiding CBU in thoroughly addressing the learning programs deficiencies and had asked the higher education institutions to develop an implementation plan over a period of not more than 1 year.
For this reason, in May 2018, the Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, and Bachelor of Dental Surgery offered by the Copperbelt University were audited by experts acting on behalf of the Higher Education Authority for purposes of accreditation. Preliminary findings of the audit indicated that the learning programs had areas that needed improvement. Following the findings, Higher Education Authority began a process of guiding Copperbelt University in thoroughly addressing the learning programs deficiencies and had asked the higher education institution to develop an implementation plan over a period of not more than 1 year, basically not more than 12 months. This was expertly deemed as a sufficient period of time in which to rectify all the learning programs deficiencies. Moreover, as it was expertly determined that the shortcomings of the learning programs did not warrant the closure of the Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, and the Bachelor of Dental Surgery learning programs, as continuous improvement of these programs is instituted. Copperbelt University shall continue providing these learning programs while they address the shortcomings that have been identified.
But the Health Professions Council of Zambia, HPCZ, says it will not recognize the students that will be graduating from the 3 learning programs it has suspended at Copperbelt University. Registrar Aaron Mijajati says as far as the council is concerned, the running of Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, and Bachelor of Dental Surgery learning programs remain suspended. Dr. Mjajati says the Act establishing the HPCZ empowers it to suspend the running of learning programs that do not meet the required standards. He says that this means that while the Higher Education Authority (HEA) is the custodian of all the learning institutions in the country, the Health Professions Act empowers the HPCZ to be the regulator. Dr. Mjajati states that what the Copperbelt University should have done in this case is to meet the HPCZ and agree on how deficiencies in its suspended learning programs can be addressed. He has since indicated that the Council will appeal to the Attorney General to seek guidance on the respective acts of Parliament upon which the HPCZ and HEA have been established. HPCZ does not want to be seen. Dr. Mjajati rather says that the HPCZ does not want to be seen as being in a fight with the HEA. The Rural Electrification Authority (REA) is targeting to electrify 22,000 rural households across the country in the next 4 years under a World Bank-funded project. RIA Chief Executive Officer Pastor Geoffrey Msonda says that the World Bank is providing funding of $26 million for this project. Pastor Msonda says so far 800 houses have been connected to electricity. He says RIA is working in collaboration with ZESCOM in implementing the project. Details in the following report.
Access to electricity is a primary goal for humanity as it helps to promote economic development. The Rural Electrification Authority, RIA, has continued to electrify rural areas in various parts of the country. RIA Chief Executive Officer Pastor Geoffrey Msonda toured projects in Northwestern Province. The first stop was the inspection of the Kasanjiku Mini Power Hydro Station. This project involves electricity supply to Ntambu community and surrounding areas in Mwinilunga district.
So we have a local or a Zambian company which has been supervising the Chinese contractor that we have on site. And so far that arrangement has been working very well. And as you can see, we are almost getting to the end of the project in terms of implementation or project execution. And maybe just to give you information, the capacity of this small hydro power station is 640 kilowatts. That is the capacity of 0.64 megawatts, depending on what you want to use.
The beneficiaries explained how the completion of this project will help their lives.
And it's not only that, even children, I'm sure the performance will also improve because our children now will have lights even to study at their free times, like in the evenings.
It would be much appreciative if we receive electricity here. Yes.
And when it comes to their examinations, how are they going to conduct a practical? We find that they will be finishing their practicals maybe around 17 or 18.
Mr. Msonda also toured the Chavuma Electricity Connection Intensification Project.
The total number of houses that benefited from this project is 45, and we spent about 350,000 kwacha to do the project. And from the information that we have received from our colleagues here at ZESCO, they have reported that this project is sustainable in that most of the people that benefited from this project are able to recharge their systems. What I mean is they are able to buy the and they are able to continue to run.
Chavuma Primary School head teacher Matilda Lifwembu expressed happiness with the project.
And we're also making ice blocks, even when they will be unable to complete their school. They will be unable to benefit that surviving skills in future as they survive in the village. And from that time, we have also extended power this side, where it was incomplete with the few materials that were left. Yes. For ICT, yes, we have the computers with us here, and we are able to also impart the knowledge on the computers.
In line with the authority's mandate of providing electricity infrastructure to rural areas using appropriate technologies in order to contribute to the improvement of quality of life for the rural community, these projects are expected to uplift the standards of living of the people. Martha Katambi reporting for QTV News in Northwestern Province.
The Opposition United Party for National Development, UPND's Sheke Member of Parliament, Frank Kufwakwandi, has died in South Africa after an illness. Confirming the development, Zambia's High Commissioner to South Africa, Emmanuel Mwamba, says Mr. Kufwakwandi died in the early hours of Monday. Mr. Mwamba says government evacuated the lawmaker to South Africa last month and he has been receiving specialist treatment at Owaib Medical Center in Johannesburg until his demise. He has disclosed that Mr. Kufwakwandi had a cardiac condition which he was being treated for. Mr. Mwamba says details pertaining to the repatriation of the body will be communicated to later. The Patriotic Front, PF government, has been challenged to do a self-introspection and ascertain whether it has not lost legitimacy to govern. Civil rights activist Brebna Changala says there are enough signs in the country that indicate that the PF government is in injury time and needs to seek a fresh mandate. Mr. Changala says that the PF government has outlived its usefulness to the extent of becoming toxic to the well-being of the Zambian people. Mr. Changala tells Q News that in an ideal democracy where common sense and political decency prevails, the PF government should have by now called for an early election. He believes that Zambia needs a new, energetic and inspiring leadership that can take the country to greater heights. Mr. Changala states that as things stand, Zambians are in a serious problem in the sense that their freedom and personal liberties are being challenged by the government they elected.
PF, like anybody in the right frame of mind will know, is in injury time. Signs are there that they have lost legitimacy. And in an ideal situation where common sense and political decency prevails, we should be having an early election so that we have new, energetic and inspiring leadership. Inspiring leadership that will strive this country to greater heights. We are in trouble, serious trouble in the sense that our freedoms and personal liberties are being challenged by the very government that we elected. We are serious in trouble that the Public Order Act and the police are now the ultimate authority in this land. Anybody who talks, as long as he doesn't sing songs of praise for the great leader, is in trouble. And I'm appealing to the people of Zambia to come together and defend their country that is under siege.
Minister of Agriculture Michael Katambo has encouraged farmers to consider planting non-rainy fed crops following the warning of a possible El Nino to be experienced this rainy season. The latest update from the World Meteorological Organization, WMO, released in September this year, indicated that there is a 70% chance of an El Nino developing by the end of this year. Mr. Katambo says his ministry is working closely with the Agricultural Research Institute and the Ministry of Transport and Communications to educate farmers across the country on the effects of the El Nino and what they can do in order not to be caught up in the effects of this weather condition. He says early warning systems have been put in place so that farmers can be informed and alerted. The minister has however stated that government has ongoing projects such as the $115 million World Bank funded irrigation scheme projects being implemented in 3 districts aimed at encouraging all year round farming.
The information is being disseminated and working together with the Ministry of Transport and Communication, where the Meteorological Department falls under. We are receiving these informations each and every day, and updates are being given to the ministry each and every week, and this information is being disseminated to our farmers. Of course, early warning systems been put in place, and that's why His Excellency the President has brought these ideas of irrigation schemes in various of our provinces, and also constructions of dams, water harvest, and so that at least agricultural production and productivity in the all categories of our farmers, if the small scale or emergent farmers or big commercial farmers, are supposed to engage in the all year round production of food crops or food commodities within the year, rather than only be dependent on rain-fed
agriculture activities within the year. So we want it to be continuously. That's why you find in Lufwanyama, in Musakashi, in Mufurila, in Momboshi, in Chisamba, in Lisitu. So all these are big projects which are going to engage our farmers into irrigation schemes, and this working with our cooperating partners who gave us the funding, or the World Bank, about $115 million to implement this program. So all these are interventions that government is putting in place, at least to hit to these El Nino or it be La Nina, all these adverse effects of weather. So all these are under Ministry of Agriculture taken into account and handling and trying to help and disseminate information to our small scale farmers and all categories of information.
The Law Association of Zambia Law says that the offence of a publication of false news to incite people against the government cannot be tried as treason under the Zambian laws. LAS President Eddie Mwitwa says for an offence to be tried as treason, it must be a crime someone commits with the aim of overthrowing a legitimate government. Mr. Mwito explains that this entails there being evidence to prove the objective and intent of changing government through unlawful means. In an interview with QTV News by telephone, Mr. Mwito says that treason is therefore a much serious crime than just simply publishing false news or rumors. Mr. Mwito says a publication of false news is in fact a misdemeanor which falls under Section 67 of the Penal Code. He says this offence only attracts 3 years imprisonment if one is found guilty and convicted by the courts of law. Mr. Mwitwa's comment follows the summoning of UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema by the police in Ndola over allegations that he incited riots in Kitwe by claiming that government had sold Zafiko to the Chinese when he featured on a live radio program in Ndola.
Treason? No. Treason is covered under a different section altogether, and there are different ingredients that the prosecution would have to prove for them to sustain prosecuting anybody for treason. Treason is much more serious than publication of false news. For an offense to be tried as treason, it must be something that somebody does with the intention of overthrowing the government. So there must be that objective of getting a change of government by unlawful means, which is totally different from simply publishing false news or rumors. And there must be an intention to what you're doing. What is the end result that you want to be achieved? Treason.
Government has projected to raise about 13 million kwacha through the Tourism Development Fund against the 11 million kwacha target by the end of 2018. The Tourism Development Fund is aimed at supporting tourism product development, tourism infrastructure, and tourism marketing, and enhancing the sector's contribution to employment and wealth generation. Tourism and Arts Minister Charles Banda tells Q News that 9.1 million kwacha had been raised as of end of September 2018 through the Tourism Development Fund. Dr. Banda says an average of 3.3 million kwacha is being raised from the fund per month. The minister has since commended players in the tourism and hospitality sectors for their compliance towards the Tourism Development Fund.
We are very happy as a ministry that there's been a total compliance in as far as paying of the Tourism Development Fund is concerned from the hospitality facilities. And when we look at the figures, we have been raising an average of about 3.3 million kwacha per month. As of now, I can safely tell you that we have raised about 9.1 million kwacha already by end of September, which means that come end of December, we are going to beat the target of 11 million kwacha. We expect to raise about 13 million kwacha. That is our projection. So what it means is that people are paying. They have seen the need as to why they should pay that levy. It is for the benefit of the entire sector, the entire tourism industry. Because when we have a trained cadre in this sector, it means that everybody is going to be treated by the trained cadre. They'll be saved by the trained cadre. And when that has been achieved in total, all of us are going to benefit. Government, the private sector, and everybody. Mind you, it is always very important that we should invest in human capital. When you have invested in human capital, you don't go wrong. There's always continuity. So I want to thank most sincerely all those that have been paying the Tourism Development Fund, and that they should continue because we are in it together.
The Zambia Revenue Authority, ZRA, has intercepted a truck with smuggled chicken pieces worth 260,000 kwacha in taxes. ZRA Corporate Communications Manager Topsis Kalinda says the chicken pieces and truck have since been seized on grounds of false declaration and forgery contrary to Section 141, Cap 322 of the Customs and Excise Act. Mr. Skalinda explains that facts of the matter are that the consignment was declared as transit goods going to a neighboring country when in fact it was destined for Lusaka. He says investigations have so far revealed that the company in question has been smuggling meat products into the country using transit fraud. Mr. Skalinda states that there is a precedence for traders to try and smuggle goods during the festive season in order to make more profits, but that the authority has ensured that the mobile compliance unit is in all strategic parts of the country. Chief Bunda Bunda of Rufunsa district says his chiefdom is coming up with regulations to enhance local beneficiation from investment in the area. The traditional leader says he will not show title deeds of any potential investor as long as they do not state clearly how the local people will benefit from their investment. He has warned that investors who fail to comply with agreed terms and conditions risk being penalized. Chief Bunda Bunda adds that he wants investors who have an interest to invest in the area to prioritize investment which is based towards the girl child education.
When an investor comes in the chiefdom, that investor is coming with the business profile, and we are going to see what it states. Is from that point that we are going to avail to that person, to that investor, the terms and conditions of the chiefdom. And what it means is that if we are coming to be the win-win situation with that investor, it means we are in that business as well. When we are in that business, there's nothing wrong to sign the title deed together, because we are signing the title deed as one. And it means the chiefdom is having a stake in that business. Now, if the chiefdom is having a stake in that business, then there's nothing wrong to sign the title deed. But not to sign a title deed for that person or that investor as an individual in that name completely. We are saying no, because we are looking at the situation on how we are going to reap to our people. We get something from the investors and we channel that money to the poor people. You heard what I said, I mentioned of Bunda Bunda Chiefdom Development Trust Account, so that money can be sourced from these investors to be channeled to these vulnerable groups such as orphans, the aged, and it's through that these orphans, including the girl child, they will go to school. If we don't do that, then we'll be shooting our foot, we'll be shooting our feet, then we will not achieve what we are thinking. When an investor...
The Zambia Institute of Environment Management, ZEMA Executive Director Morgan Katati has urged the Lusaka District Development Coordinating Committee, LDDCC, to come up with a robust criterion of ensuring the whole capital city is clean. Mr. Katati has expressed concern with the selective cleaning exercise that the committee is undertaking, which has concentrated in cholera and flood-prone areas while leaving other areas vulnerable to the accumulation of dirty, which may be a source of disease outbreak. Speaking in an interview with QTV News, Mr. Katati says drawing lessons from the previous cholera outbreak, which affected areas least expected, such as Long Acres and Northmead, it is important that the cleanings of the city does not leave out any area. Here is a report.
Lusaka has remained one of the areas prone to cholera outbreaks during the rainy season. The outbreak knows no borders as it spreads from shanty to peri-urban and urban townships. Following this development, efforts by various stakeholders to rid the city of the cholera disease outbreak have concentrated in persistent hotspots, which include Kanyama and George compounds, among others. George Sichimba is Lusaka City Council Public Relations Manager.
Yes, I think I must admit that as Lusaka City Council, the concentration has been on the flood-prone areas and also cholera-prone areas. This is where we have been doing drainage works. In some cases, we are constructing new drainages actually, while in other areas we have been opening up the already existing drainages. This is simple. The problems emanate from there, and then.
However, Zambia Institute of Environmental Management ZM Executive Director Morgan Katati has opposed the criteria. Mr. Katati is of the view that cleaning should not be done selectively, as the outbreak of the disease does not choose where to start from.
So when we say Keep Zambia Clean campaign, Clean Health and Green campaign, we are not talking about keeping certain selected areas cleaner based on whatever reasoning or forces that are there, but we are talking about keeping the whole country in its cleanest possible form. This is because when we are talking about environmental epidemiology, like disease outbreaks, the disease outbreak will always break from one point and spread to other areas.
The drainage at the Mandao footbridge, just adjacent to the Mandao shopping mall, is one of the neglected areas. But Mr. Sichimba alleges that the dirtiness that is seen there is a result of the street kids who have turned the footbridge into their home.
The Mandao area, we even have a performance contract around that place. But we have a challenge, a very big challenge there of street kids. When the drainages are cleaned during the day, at night I think they are spending nights in these drainages, and they are bringing all sorts of things being used as beddings. We find carton boxes and many other materials that are being put in our drainages.
And Minister of Water Development and Environmental Protection Permanent Secretary Eddie Chomba has bemoaned the general public's unwillingness to complement efforts to keep the environment clean.
Now, the contamination that you are seeing happening is as a result of our own activities. We as a people, we cannot, compute that to the government and say, what is the government doing about it? The job of the government is to put the policies in place. And they've put the policy in place. President has launched, a program, Keep Zambia Clean and Green and Healthy. People are not joining in to go and clean up our areas only the last Saturday of every month.
With the heavens promising to open up anytime soon, it is important that the cholera outbreak is not allowed to ravage the capital city. Chile Shemwango reporting for QTV News. Lusaka.
Ngoma Member of Parliament Boyd Hamsonde has expressed concern over the delay by the Ministry of Agriculture to disperse farming imports to farmers in his constituency. Mr. Hamsonde has told QTV News that the delay is a clear sign that government has no money to facilitate the exercise. He says that this is because for farmers to redeem their imports, they need to have money in their accounts, which he suspects government has not deposited in the accounts held with various banking institutions. Mr. Hamsonde adds that in normal circumstances, the farmers should have received the seeds, as they are not supposed to wait for the rain season in order for them to embark on the planting exercise.
The other thing is that this money for farmers, FISIP, whatever, you see, we are supposed to be given by now, but they are saying they are just in shades. instead of going to the people, to individuals, because rainy season, we don't always wait for rainy season. People with money, they have already started planting and waiting for seed to germinate. But they can't start because the people who even deposited some depots, 400 to get the fertilizers, it's not there. It seems as if the government has no money. That's what I'm saying. Because if money was there, they would have given it to us. In the sheds, they're saying they're in our districts, they're in the sheds, but it's not yet given to the people. Because what happens is when you get those things, people must have money through e-vouchers, but it seems the government hasn't deposited the money in the banks so that they can start withdrawing and get these items. The other thing is that
Minister of Agriculture Michael Katambo recently confirmed that so far only fertilizer has been received in various sheds across the country. Mr. Katambo says the seeds have not been received by the farmers as seed companies have not yet delivered them to his ministry. The minister recently told Parliament that government still owes seed companies for the seeds supplied in the last 3 farming seasons. Topstar has targeted to reach 1 million decoder owners by the end of 2018. Speaking during a media briefing in Lusaka, Topstar Vice President Cliff Schone says that the company has continued to expand coverage of the digital terrestrial TV network and is confident of reaching 1 million decoder owners by the end of this year. Mr. Schone adds that Topstar has launched its Christmas promotion with a price cut on decoders and a bonus viewing for subscribers. He says that Topstar currently has the widest digital terrestrial TV coverage on the pay TV market, as well as offering a countrywide TV signal. Mr. Schone adds that the Christmas promotion coincides with the Asha campaign to give a treat to Topstar decoder owners who may wish to subscribe to its affordable but rich buffet. He says that Topstar decoder owners will get an opportunity to receive a bonus viewing for 2 weeks anytime they pay subscription within the Christmas promotion period. Mr. Schone states that during the Christmas promotion period, the DTT decoder will cost 109 kwacha from 149 kwacha, while the DTH dish decoder will cost 249 kwacha from 299 kwacha, both coming with a free 1-month subscription.
Our current price for our DTH decoder, together with satellite dish and all the accessories, is at 299 kwacha, and we've decided to drop it to 249 kwacha, inclusive of 1 month free subscription on the Super Bouquet. We've also done the same on the DTT decoder, where we've dropped the price from the market price of 149 to 109 kwacha, all in the hope that we can ensure that as many households as possible get access to affordable but quality TV. We just last week celebrated the Diwali, and obviously that gives you an indication that we are already in the festive mood. Our colleagues at Finikas in that aspect of celebration did celebrate Diwali. And as Topstar, we have an array of content that fits literally every person or every household's niche needs, coming from children's content to content that appeal to respective beliefs and religions, as well as light. So Bollywood, in terms of content, we have a huge content of Bollywood, a number of hours of fresh content on TV that we churn out. Our current
And finally, in our news, Trade Kings Group has contributed 100,000 kwacha towards this year's 7th Annual Manufacturers Week, which will run from 11th to 16th November 2018. The Manufacturers Week is being held under the theme Manufacturer Africa Value Addition for Economic Development through Regional Cooperation and Fair Competition. Trade Kings Group Manager for Public Relations and Corporate Affairs, Bridget Kambobe, says that the sponsorship of the Manufacturers Week is a clear mark of the conviction and confidence that Trade Kings continues to have in the potential and opportunities in the sector. Speaking during a press briefing to launch the 2018 Manufacturers Week, Ms. Kambobe says that Trade Kings has positioned itself for this potential and as opportunity in Africa through the investment to build the largest detergent manufacturing plant in the Lusaka multi-facility economic zone. Ms. Kambobe states that this year's theme is appropriate for the role that the manufacturing sector plays in transforming the country and region economically.
As well as rethinking, as well as new and of course exciting ways of manufacturing products from raw material into finished goods. We thus have purpose to contribute to the initiatives to grow the industry, and it's certainly the manufacturing sector that is to grow the economy to the next level. There's one thing I would like to say before I close my remarks this morning, which I believe manufacturers do not say enough. That as the manufacturing sector continues to modernize, we have to identify that talent is one of the greatest challenges for the sector. And Madam CEO, we do need to address the issue of talent as far as the manufacturing sector is concerned. How are we going to fix this? This fix starts early by inspiring young women and men and parents about the possibilities in science, technology, and engineering and maths. And it's about showing them that manufacturing jobs that are high-tech are well-paying. And they're not only well-paying, they're very, very satisfying. I want you to imagine how anybody who would be in our confectionery plant would feel at the conversion of what looks like sugar or what looks like glucose and color and flavor into what is called Amazon Pops. I just wanted to emphasize how satisfying the jobs in the manufacturing sector, as well as
Speaking at the same event, ZAM Chief Executive Officer Chipego Zulu says that the Manufacturers Week will attract a participation of over 50 manufacturers from across the country. Ms. Zulu says that the event is meant to benefit the manufacturers as they will be accorded an opportunity to sell their products and also get feedback from their customers on the products they produce. She has since commended Trade Kings for embracing value addition.
First of all, to employ, of course, a good number of Zambian employees, even our youth and women, and to also ensure that as we are growing this, I believe, global conglomerate, we begin to champion this sort of message to our other players in the manufacturing sector. I think it's very easy to see that Trade Kings is indeed one of our leading companies when it comes to value addition. And when we speak about promoting and celebrating Zambia's best, Trade Kings is definitely amongst the top. And we do take this opportunity, obviously, to talk about the 7th Annual Manufacturers Week, which is running right now. As you had rightly put it, it's all about Manufacture Africa. We are looking to position Zambia to take advantage of the regional opportunities. I think significantly, or a lot of the time, we do tend to focus on the challenges in the manufacturing sector, but it's always gratifying to see organizations rising above those. In the 20 years plus of Trade Kings operations in Zambia since we started, I think we have been able to make significant strides in improving the quality of products, in improving the packaging of products, to an extent that Zambian products, locally manufactured Zambian products, can compete favorably with both regional and international brands. This is the sort of engagement we would like to see going forward from a number of our manufacturers. Trade Kings, of course, one of the companies leading the way, but we do see the scope for growth for other manufacturing firms in various sectors. So once again, I think we do recognize the efforts that Trade Kings is putting forward in championing value addition. And as we go into our Manufacturers Week, we do urge not only our friends from the media, but also the Zambian public to get engaged and involved with value addition. First of all,
top stories in our news. President Edgar Chagwa has cautioned Zambians against making reckless statements that have the potential to cause havoc in the country. And the Higher Education Authority has overruled the Health Professions Council of Zambia, HPCZ, on the suspension of the 3 medical programs at Copperbelt University. UPND Sesheke Member of Parliament Frank Kofa Kwandi has died. Ends the news.